Welcome, everybody, to the Gruely Crew Sports Network and our college basketball preview show. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Today, we're going to look at a preview of the Stanford Cardinal traveling to take on the Duke Blue Devils on Saturday in a game that should be interesting. Now, if Duke freshman Cooper Flagg wasn't in the ACC, Stanford center Maxim Reynaud would be the favorite to win the ACC Player of the Year. Reynaud, the Cardinals' 7'1" center, is the league's top scorer and rebounder at 19.9 points and 11.5 rebounds per game. Flagg leads Duke in scoring at 19.8, rebounding 7.6, assisted 4, steals 1.5, and blocks 1.2. Coming off an 8-point game and a loss to Georgia Tech, it's safe to assume Reynaud will have a bounce-back performance at Duke. The last time Reynaud scored fewer than 10 points, he followed up with 21 in a win at Syracuse. Flagg is coming off a 27-point game against Cal, so get your popcorn ready for what should be a fun matchup between two of the top players at college hoops. Now, Duke right now looks madly in play for a number one seed. And they'd really have to fall apart to not get that number one seed. Stanford, on the other hand, looks like a team that with a light schedule after the Duke game, they can string together some wins and have a decent seed for the NCAA tournament. Now, when we look at this game, Sion James is steady as a scorer, rebounder, and defender. He was once referred to as Duke's ultimate connector by Duke coach John Shire. Sion Jones is averaging 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Flagg is the only other Duke player averaging more than 4 rebounds and 3 assists. James, who has a season-high 8 defensive rebounds against Cal, has dished out at least 3 assists in 5 games with 18 assists and 5 turnovers. Sion James has been the unsung hero of this Duke Blue Devil team. Now, Stanford guard Jalen Blakes will return to Duke. Duke graduate Jalen Blakes returns to Cameron Indoor Stadium as a Stanford Cardinal on Saturday. During his time with the Blue Devils, Blake was a part of a Final Four team, ACC tournament title squad, and a team advanced to the Elite Eight in his final season. In 22 games with Stanford, Blakes is averaging 14.5 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He just returned to the lineup after missing 3 games because of injury. He also had a near buzzer-beating win against UNC earlier this season at the Smith Center. When we look at this game, there's a lot of things that stand out to me. If you look at how these teams can beat each other, all right, Duke's going to be a prohibitive favorite because they're a prohibitive favorite against anybody outside of Alabama and Auburn, probably. How can Stanford win this game? Well, how did Clemson take down Duke? It won the battle of the boards. It hit just about everything from the field, shooting 59%. Stanford doesn't have a slew of sharpshooters, but it has to get to the rim and create easy chances. The Cardinals 8-0 when hitting at least 47% of their shots and 14-3 when hitting 44%. Overall, the Blue Devils defense is strong, but it does have some lapses. It'll have problems with Stanford on the offensive glass, especially with the big 7-foot center underneath for Stanford. Now, why Duke wins? Well, Duke's better. They're deeper. They have the better players. But also, Stanford doesn't shoot the ball well enough. It has its moments, and it has the potential to generate a slew of good chances from close range. But overall, it's just average from the field, and that's being generous. It's not consistent enough. It doesn't have the fast break ability to generate points and spots if this gets into a firefight. And then there's Stanford's problem. And that problem is Duke is unbeaten at home, and it hasn't been particularly close. Out of the 14 games in Cameron Indoor, Notre Dame lost by 8. Auburn lost by 6. Everyone else lost by double digits. So will Stanford. The Cardinals are just 3-7 on the road, but they took out North Carolina and Chapel Hill. But that's North Carolina. This is Duke. And Duke is what I've been saying it all year. Duke is one of the 3 best teams in the country. You've got Duke, Alabama, and Auburn. Put them in any order you want. Those are the 3 best teams in the country. We do not have a point spread for this game. If you want to find that point spread later on today, it'll be posted at BetMGM. You can click on the link in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. I think Duke wins this game 80-62. I will bet this up to Duke minus 15. If it gets above that, I'm probably staying off it. If you get to 20, I'll take Stanford. But Duke is clearly the better team here. I think Duke wins this game by 15 to 20 points and continues to roll on. Stanford will have to bounce back. They've got a soft schedule for the next 3 or 4 games. They're going to have to run the table there to have a shot to make the NCAA tournament. All right, guys, make sure you follow me on X at Grueling Truth. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Check out thegruelingtruth.com. But for now, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.